Being a really big horror fan, as you guys know if you've watched my YouTube channel for a while, one of the titles out there that I haven't talked much about whatsoever on the YouTube channel is Dead Island. This is a title, guys, that I definitely wanted to start talking more about here on the YouTube channel because this is a title obviously coming out, the sequel, that being Dead Island 2. It's something I'm pretty excited about. And, after playing the first game, this has been one that's kind of almost been in a limbo state for me because Dead Island 1 came out in 2011 and I played it upon release, and I really enjoyed some of the concepts. There's this real heavy emphasis on melee combat in Dead Island, and I gotta say, guys, I didn't play the spin-offs. I did not play the spin-off, that being Escape Dead Island. I also didn't play Riptide, which was a standalone DLC expansion for the first game. And what I will say, though, is this. The first game had elements of it that I really enjoyed. There were other elements that I didn't like so much. There were definitely moments where I felt that Dead Island kind of reminded me of Dead Rising, which Dead Rising came out, and that was a little bit more of a cheesy take on it. Dead Island was a little more serious, which I liked a lot about Dead Island. But what I really wanted, though, are a number of things that I would like to see changed here between the first game and the second one. And so what I wanted to, go into here in this segment of the show is everything that we want in Dead Island 2. And when I say we, guys, I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts and opinions here, and I'd love to hear yours in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. So from the first game to the second game, guys, some of the things that I would love to see, I would love to see more variety of weaponry. I want to see variety as far as enemies are concerned, as well as environments, that being like locations, like I said, different enemies, as well as characters. And it looks like overall, we're going to be getting a good amount of those things. It's called Dead Island, so you're thinking an island here, right? So that's most likely, there's only so many different types of environments you're going to have on a space like that. But I definitely want there to be some familiarity to the first game, not necessarily the spin-off. I heard, obviously didn't play the spin-off, but heard a lot of negative things about the spin-off. I also didn't play the DLC expansion, which I heard some pretty good things about from people close to me that had played the game or played the expansion. And so the things, though, for me are just having some similarities, but also having, significant differences. I liked a lot of the variety of the different ways you could take out enemies in Dead Island. There were times where things got frustrating, like running out of ammo, running out, things of that nature did start to kind of wear on you a little bit when you're talking about the sheer number of zombies that are coming at you. But I think that Dead Island 2, what I would love to see there is having familiarity to the series, obviously, but having those differences between, different enemies. I would love to have more variety on enemies. I think that's something that would be really cool. You think of games like Left 4 Dead, you think of even games like The Last of Us, Gears of War. These are titles that have evolved, what they started, especially, from one game to the next. I think Gears of War is a great example of consistently adding new enemies between each entry in their series. And so something like that. I know this is technically the second main entry. I guess you could really say the third main entry in the franchise of Dead Island. But I really want to see from 1 to 2 here. I really want to see some, vast differences of when it comes to enemies, even having, existing enemies, but having variety there, I think is going to be really important moving into this title. I would love to see a longer campaign. You guys know me, I love full packages, and so what I'm getting at with that is Dead Island is the perfect title, in my opinion, to be supporting co-op and multiplayer modes, which we know from the first game obviously had that, but I want to see like more of an emphasis on co-op play where you can play with your friends, go up against, waves and waves of zombies, like in a PvE format where you have, co-op missions. Or playing multiplayer, we're going PvP against other people out there, being able to like customize, your characters, the weaponry you're using, things of that nature could be something really special as well. So all in all, Dead Island 2, I'm excited about this title. I really am. We don't know a lot about it yet. I mean, just because we've gotten, you know, obviously the confirmation that it exists. We've seen some footage, but overall, guys, we still don't even know when the release date is. It's still to be announced at this point in time. And so it could be a long way off. It's tough to say, but I gotta say, I also believe that, you know, Dead Island, what it would do really well with, and this was something that even with Left 4 Dead, I thought that could really, if it had elements that were free to play, I think it would actually draw a lot more people in to play the game. Dead Island did really well, guys, as far as from a perspective of, you know, sales. It really built a nice sized fan base, but I think it kind of started losing people after the first game came out. And then when the second one came off, the spin-off Escape Dead Island, I think it kind of lost some of those people. I honestly, guys, when it released back in 2014, Escape Dead Island, I did not see any marketing for that title whatsoever. And so I think it almost got kind of lost in the shuffle. And then on top of that, you know, November of 2014 was a time where there were other, you know, games coming out, obviously, around that time. And we always know that in the fall going into the winter, there's typically a lot of, you know, big titles that are competing against one another. So with Dead Island 2, guys, I think it needs to release somewhere in like the summer. I think it just makes sense. More tropical times and, you know, things of that nature. I think it would be a great time in the summer to release Dead Island. So I'm anticipating it coming out somewhere in 2021, hopefully summer of 2021. But since we don't even have a release date yet, it may be, you know, 2022 at this point in time. But with that, guys, I would love to hear from all of you, though. What do you guys want to see as far as Dead Island 2 is concerned? I mean, you heard one man's thoughts. And when I say free to play, guys, I mean probably multiplayer elements, co-op elements that are free to play, that bring more people in to try the game out, that can you know, start to really continue building upon that fan base that they might have lost between, you know, Riptide and Escape Dead Island itself. I think that they really could start building upon what they started with the first Dead Island, now kind of with that direct, you know, that continuation here of Dead Island 2. So having free-to-play elements, we see, you know, so many games out there now. There are AAA titles that have free-to-play elements that are growing their fan bases in a major way. I'd love to see the same here with Dead Island. I also would really like to see, guys, in more of an emphasis here in Dead Island 2 of horror. And look, we know, guys, this is, I mean, typically speaking, when we look at Dead Island, this is a title that is a survival horror action role-playing game. So when you look at that, you know, that tells you that, sure, it's action RPG, right? And which there's nothing wrong with that. But in the very beginning, though, those first two lines or first two words, survival horror, you know, I would really like to see more emphasis on horror over action in Dead Island 2. And I know that might sound kind of crazy, might be really difficult for them to pull something like that off without it going just straight up horror. I just would really like to see more of a balance here from the first game to the second one of having horror, you know, being a horror game, true horror with action elements versus out of an action game with some horror elements. I would really like to hear your thoughts on that, guys. Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Dead Island 2 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.